SE.
Alright. And basically, just for the camera one time, you guys are going to file temporary.
Yeah, what we're doing is we're going to file a request for a temporary restraining order and a preliminary injunction against the city to require it to stop enforcing this unconstitutional and overbroad ordinance, San Diego Municipal Code Section 54.0110, which makes it illegal to put any object on any city property whatsoever. So the way that it's being selectively enforced is to prevent protesters from setting their signs down, setting their bags down, things like that. But if it was going to be enforced uniformly in that manner, it would be illegal what you're doing right now by having your camera tripod set up.
What does the Occupy resident, or the Occupy group want you to do and want you to secure for them here at the Civic Center Plaza?
Well, as far as the broader issue of other civil rights and constitutional rights violations, this particular lawsuit isn't going to address those at this time. We're just seeking to stop the selective enforcement of this very specific municipal code ordinance that's being used to tell protesters and activists that they can't set anything down on the ground.
Speak to the police and what they're doing, because my audio dropped out.
Okay. Yeah, what they've done is they've set up water barricades, which are these big plastic containers filled with water that are heavy, so you can't move them. They've set them up and sealed off Civic Center Plaza, this is the quintessential public forum. This is the public square, and they've sealed off the whole plaza so that in order to get in, you have to pass through a narrow passageway flanked by police officers who, if they want to, will tell you. If they don't like the way you look, or there's something going on that they want to prevent, as far as a rally or an assembly, they'll tell you can't go in there and set down any object on the ground. You can't set down your bag, your purse, your sign, anything like that. And we have video of the police supervisor explaining that this is why they're setting up. There's no secret why they set up the barricades. They've said, we set up these barricades so we can tell people that you're violating the law if you set anything down on the ground. And so our point with this lawsuit is that it cannot be illegal to set down any object on any city property. It's totally arbitrary and overbroad, and there's way too much discretion in the police.
Gotcha. The Occupy leaders are pretty upset, it seems like. They want some justice. They want... What does it use an attorney and for them to try to relate to them hey, they have to follow what the police say? How do you work with that?
Okay. Yeah, I think for the most part, the Occupy protesters have been pretty respectful of the police and vice versa. But there was the sweep arrest a couple weeks ago where the police just came in and were beating and arresting people, pepper spraying people in the face, and just cleared everybody out of here. And then they just decided the next day we're going to enforce this ordinance and said you can't set anything down. It wasn't, you can't set up tents and sleeping bags and things like that. It was you can't set anything down. It can't be a cup of coffee on a bench. You can't put a flag next to this pole over here. You can't set anything down, even if you're right there with the object.
Talk about the ordinance. Can you beat the ordinance?
What the ordinance?
Can you beat this in a way of fight this? I guess what I'm saying is it constitutional, that sort of thing? Are they in the right to set this ordinance to do all this?
Well, you can't have an ordinance that makes basically any conduct illegal and just puts unlimited discretion in the police department whether or not to enforce it. And so that's what this has done. It's put just unbridled authority in the police department to make basically any conduct illegal if they choose to find it illegal.
Is this happening nationwide with Occupy, or is it just here in San Diego?
I haven't heard of an ordinance like this being used anywhere else. It's a pretty strange ordinance if you read it. It says, it refers to fixtures and vegetation and things like that, but it also says any object placed on any city property is a violation of the ordinance. I don't, but I would have to guess it's probably several decades old, because they don't write laws like that.
I know there's been problems in other cities with the Occupy, like there's been arrests and whatnot. Is the homeless part of those problems in those other cities as well too?
I'm sorry,
is the homeless part of the problem with Occupy in the other cities as well too? With the recent problems that happened in New York.
I can't really speak to that. I mean, there is an interesting New York Times article a few days ago about how there's kind of an interesting dynamic taking place where homeless folks are, not only participating but sort of merging into the Occupy movement, because what's happening is it's a much safer space. You get food, you get shelter, you get police protection for things like robbery and mugging and things like that. It's safer unless they want to violate your rights and tell you can't be here. But it's there's definitely that dynamic going on where you have individuals who are here to stand up to big business and stand up to the banks and to Wall Street and to everything that's going wrong with this country. And then you also have the economic component. You have folks who are homeless to begin with and are coming and also being part of the movement and getting shelter and food and things like that. So there is that dynamic going on, but I'm not sure what the question was as far as.
No, I was just concerned with. Obviously, there's been a problem with the homeless down here in San Diego with you guys' problem with keeping it clean, the vegetation, all that stuff, food and everything. Yeah. Is this nationwide the same problem with Occupy as well?
Yeah, I can't really speak to that. No problem. So you're talking about the free speech law.
We were apparently the cops told the people who had their sleeping area that they have to consolidate it even more today.
Well, yeah, that's what they're kind of like. There's kind of like this give and take, and like the police will push one way, and then the activists will try to figure out a way that they can have their free speech rights without violating any laws. But the problem is when you have a law that's so overbroad as this ordinance, then at any point the police could just say, you're violating the ordinance, you could be arrested or cited, so you better leave or pick up your things.
Are you specifically aware of the meat quotes made by the police?
Oh, I haven't heard that.
Like shut down a little and consolidate, leave some of their grassy place open.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That's what one of the young men was listening on the Fringe said.
Say your name one more time for me.
Oh, it's Bryan Pease, BRYANPEASE.
Perfect. Another pro bono 10 years.
Yeah.
Donation.
Yeah. Unless I could be able to receive attorney's fees. Nobody's paying me to do this, but on winning, then
he's not telling the
I
truth.
could
Activist San Diego has millions of dollars.
Oh yeah.
He's getting a huge consulting.
Yeah. Fortunately, in California, we have great free speech protection in the law. It's not. The way it's set up so that you can sue to protect free speech, and under the private attorney general document, you get attorney's fees for that if you win. So it makes it feasible for pro bono attorneys like myself to take these cases, still be able to pay our bills, because occasionally we'll get fees from either a company or a city that's violating constitutional rights.
So if you win injunction, judge might.
Yeah. How old do you think this article is? How old do you think it is?
Cool.
This article right here.